How are you doing? This is Martin from Gardens for Life. Would you like to come for a quick casual garden tour? This is our newest no-dig garden that we started about 11 and a half months ago now. If you'd like to see our garden in person or do some courses with us, we have a number of courses coming up. We have an extended Garden Forage Walk coming up, covering over 100 useful plants. And we also have a homesteading course coming up and grow food using no-dig gardening and plant propagation as well. And those are all in-person day courses with lots of practical examples as well. So we'll hope to see some of you here. Take a look at our website if you're interested. Tickets are available and more details and lots of previous attendee reviews as well. Let's take a look at our garden and let us know what you think in the comments below, or if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. This garden is now 12 months old, almost, and it's a no-dig garden. So let's take a look. One of our willow arches. A few more buckets of wood chips here. Here's our pool and our tent, which we really haven't used much, but you can see here garden is looking good. It is a windy day today. Can anyone here guess what plant that is? That is the lovely Marsh woundwort. A very nice plant to eat, and it's also used for many things. Let's just take a little casual walk around the garden. We've almost completed all of the wood chip paths now, because we've had to shift the big pile of wood chips that we got. We've had to use it up because we needed a space for something else. Great mullein are doing well. I may harvest some of these lemon balm bushes. You can see we have quite a few of them. Here's another one. That's one plant, by the way. And look at the amount of material you get in the first year. Well, these are planted actually last year, but they're 1 year old now. And the feverfew is still going strong. I might actually collect some more of those and dry them. We have a video about drying flowers from your garden for home remedies coming up shortly. On my left is Victoria rhubarb, and on my right is Glaston's perpetual. Even though these are only 1 year old plants, you can see they are growing quite substantially in the no-dig garden beds. Well, we have a few options. Which direction should we go? Actually, I know this way is actually still blocked by the kale plants going to seed, so we'll just go up this way. These are all the orphrey plants here, and here's one of the tripods. Even though it has more than 3 legs, it is for the mashuas to climb up on. You can see them here. They're kind of a tuberous nasturtium. They have very nice leaves to eat, but not as spicy as nasturtium. And the orphrey are almost ready to harvest. Look at them. That's a bulbous leek from Belgium, and we're going to have those available in our allium sale, which will be going online shortly, maybe next week. You can see how the paths with the wood chips on them are a nice contrast, and it really makes sure that you know where to walk, and you won't get any wet feet in the winter time especially. These are all the chive plants. They're doing really well now, since they're no longer shaded out by some of our Swedes that were going, our turnips that were going to seed here in this area. We've Comfrey planted here now. We'll see how that goes. Our celeriac is going to seed here. Some of our elephant garlic here is almost ready to pick. You can see the leaves are kind of wilting away now. We'll let it absorb some of its energy down into the bulb, and then we'll harvest those. But we don't want to leave it too long, because otherwise the skin on the bulb can get a little bit brittle. Sometimes we even leave our garlic planted for 2 or 3 years, because then we get just as big a harvest actually with less work, rather than having to replant it, separate the cloves and replant it. A few more rhubarb plants here in this corner, and more lemon balm, lo and behold. A few nettles here, I've got to take control of those. Grasses there, I'm going to do that today, and before the seeds spread into our garden beds. Don't want that. Egyptian walking onions here. These are the Egyptian walking onions. Bit of space here, we might plant some carrots here. Now, let's keep walking this way. I had more chard here, but I've taken down a lot of it because I didn't want it to take over the entire garden as it's going to seed. And we'll let some of it go to seed and we'll see how it goes. You can see there's still plenty of eating in these chard plants, even though they have gone to seed and we have chopped them back, and a lot of them have fallen over because they're a bit top heavy when they go to seed. Spuds are blocking the path here. Those spuds have been in there for the 2nd year now. Believe it or not, you don't have to harvest potatoes if you have no-day garden beds. You can just leave them in and you'll get a better yield the 2nd year with less work, if you have the space to do so. And the thyme here is doing really well. We've got loads of thyme, even though we're usually stuck for thyme. You see the paths have really changed the garden, the whole look of the garden and the utility of it. You're able to just walk around a lot more freely and with a lot more ease. There's the occasional horsefly still trying to go at me. This is willow herb, we don't want that because we have enough of it in the field. Chuck it away. Yeah, so these feverfew plants and the great mullein, of course, they have a very long flowering period and they're really good for the insects. So we plant those in between the vegetables and the other plants, the berry bushes, to bring in all the beneficial insects to protect our crops. You can see the dahlias are already out for actually about a week now. And purple tree spinach, I can't wait to eat those for breakfast. Saute those with a bit of butter in the frying pan. A nice dahlia. It must be just a different variety of dahlia because our other ones haven't flowered yet. I love dahlias, and I didn't even actually take those out of the ground in the winter. We had temperatures of -8 degrees Celsius here last winter, and the dahlia bulbs were fine. They didn't actually die or they didn't take damage from that frost. Whereas our yacons got obliterated. So this year we're going to dig up all of our yacons in advance of the frost in case it does become, well, a very cold winter. Sometimes we get a mild winter and then the yacons will be fine once you cover them a little bit. But you never know. It could just turn really cold within a few days. Taunton Dean kale is just the best variety of kale that we've ever had, just because it takes zero maintenance. It doesn't go to seed, so you can actually just let it grow year after year. All you have to do is maybe cut back the main leader for it to just branch out a little. But you can see it makes for these really beautiful patches, and especially in the evening time and in the morning they'll be covered with hue, and like you can see here a little bit. And yeah, it's almost magical looking, especially when you're doing a bit of moonlight gardening, as we do around here, simply because we have a very busy lifestyle. Here's some yarrow. That's a multicolored one. Gooseberries are going well. Here's a yacon plant. That's doing very well. We must plant some more of those around here. Here's one of our poppies. I believe it's a Bulgarian poppy when I looked it up. How many seed heads we have. Must make a video just about flowers in the garden. And we'll go down the middle here too. There's some leeks that I have stopped from going to seed. Does anyone watching this actually know what happens when you chop the seed head off a leek plant? I wonder, will it actually grow again, or will it just wither? I wonder, could we still expect a yield from it? Oh yeah, Bianca got some forage plants from a local nursery here, and we are going to plant those, and hopefully we'll get some seeds from it too, so that it can basically naturalize itself here in our garden. Plenty of occasional vegetables here too, like some beetroot here. Here's more comfrey. Look at this giant great mullein. It's actually a great mullein. That's what I called it before. The size of the leaves. And it is producing a copious amount of flowers. Very nice. We're going to harvest some of those flowers and dry them, and we can make some oils. Great for earaches, along with, especially when mixed with garlic oil as well. You can see, actually, I did not spot this before. There's a bit of grass spreading itself here. I must take care of that before it takes over. We have a couple of new varieties of willow here as well. Kami willow and another one. And more of the Taunton Dean kale. We have some courgette plants here that went in about 4 weeks ago, and you can see how large it has gone now. Look, there's my hand in comparison. Bit of bindweed here, I must take care of that too. Here's another courgette plant, and we already have the first little courgette. Look at that. Look who's here. You come to visit. Do you like the garden?
Yeah.
Good man yourself. You know all the plants here, don't you?
Yeah.
All right. This is the old pizza garden, for those of you who have seen the videos back about 3 years ago. And it has now perennialized, like this fennel patch here has definitely spread itself. And that's okay, because we're just basically harvesting fennel bulbs in the winter and even up until now. And we can just propagate it in that way, and also by seed. You can see the seed heads here. The seeds are really nice for cooking as well. You can dry them and then keep them in a jar all year. But you can see this garden, this is the pizza garden, it has completely perennialized itself. A little bit of weeds in the middle here, but that's because it's not covered with wood chips. But we'll get there. The marigolds are also out as well. They're only starting up now, and lots more of the beautiful and scrumptious marsh woundwort. Look how much marsh woundwort we got this year. We planted loads of it 2 years ago, because we were actually sold out completely for quite some time now. Here's a few strawberry plants. They do really well here. And we got some wild currant plants. So those were actually self-seeded by the birds, and the seeds would have come from the berries that were grown here in that hedgerow. We'll take a look at those in a minute. Oh yes, before we go over there, I just want to show you the Dobinton kale. Isn't it beautiful? So decorative. And we are going to start propagating that now. That's been here for a couple of years now, and now we have enough stems to propagate it. Here's an old sycamore tree. We'll dig that up in the winter and use it elsewhere. Those are some fruit trees, plum trees, apple trees. And we always underplant those with some berry bushes such as currants and jostaberries and raspberries. Here's the curly willow. We're getting a lot of raspberries now at the moment too. Let's see if it's any good. Always check for insects. Very good. Definitely beats buying strawberries or raspberries in the shop. So here are some of the black currants. You can see why the birds were able to spread the seeds. Those are a little bit hard, but they're nearly ready. Once they go soft, they're ready. That's how you know if any berry is actually ready. Even if it has taken colour, it may not still not quite be ready, and it may still be sour. So if you just push it gently, and if it's squishy, it is ready. Yeah, so here's our currant hedge here. This is actually a flowering currant. We've interplanted lots of different bits and pieces. Look at the amount of black currants here. We would ought to make some jam or wine with those, or maybe we'll just eat them. Let's see. Or leave them for the birds. The birds are certainly taking their fair share in advance of us taking ours. Yeah, so that's our newest no-dig garden. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and if you have any questions, and if you'd like to come here for a tour, we have an extended forage garden tour coming up. 100 useful plants will be covered in the tour. We also have homesteading events coming up and how to grow food using no-dig gardening courses. They're all day courses, so you can come here, and we usually start around noon, and they usually go on for 3 to 5 hours depending on which course you go for. And yeah, so we have a plant propagation course also. And take a look at our website if you're interested, and keep an eye on our website for the allium sale as well. Subscribe to our email list to stay in touch. See you in the next video. Bye bye.